We be live!
Serving shaitan with a smile. Woo!
That's right. That's right. All the time. Always here on this channel. I sent you a video, and I was like, we need to respond to this. There's no way we cannot respond to this. Like,
Yeah, we do.
Immediately, we both had an agreement that we need to go live and watch these with you guys. Oh, look at people in the live chat. Soha is here. Dee is here. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone in the live chat. All right. So let me just get right into it, okay? Because I don't want to delay this. This is amazing.
Right.
So we had a video by the channel Smile to Jannah, which is an Islamic channel.
Very popular.
Islamic YouTube channel. Yeah, very, very popular. Let me see how many views this one got. This one has already gotten 700,000 views, and it's just been released.
Crazy.
It's one of his more popular videos, right? And I can see why. The title is "We Are Fighting Ghosts." Unbelievable. So let's see what this is about. This is about the Israel-Gaza conflict right now happening. And we have some audio files from Israeli soldiers, apparently. Okay. So this is how it started. The Israeli soldiers are screaming, "I can't see them. I can't see them." So let's go. We're fighting ghosts. And then there's a video here, right? So of one of the Israeli female Israeli soldiers. So she's screaming and crying and pointing at something, and then like the camera moves to see what she's pointing out. Apparently it's nothing. So let's see a description.
Quran chapter 2 verse 2.
Okay, so now we go to the Smile to Jannah guy, and he's obviously starting with the reading of the Quran.
Quran chapter 2 verse 214 talks of a people who were struck by hardship, such that even the Prophet and the believers of the time proclaimed, "When will the help of Allah come?" And it seems that the response that was given to the Ummah then echoes the sentiments and what the Ummah needs to hear today. And that.
So basically, back then there was Muslims who really needed God's help, and then God came with help. So now, compared to today, it's like the people in Gaza are suffering, and they're asking for help, and apparently, help has arrived. Right?
And
so I want you to pay attention to these notes, guys, in the live chat, because we have to evaluate how much, if this is going to be consistent or not going forward. But yeah, go on.
Well, I just want to make sure I'm following along here. He is saying that the help that was received back then by the Muslim community suffering, sent by Allah directly, is the same help that is coming today. That's what he's saying.
Yes.
He's saying, okay.
Something similar. I don't know if it's going to be the exact same thing, but something similar at least.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's continue.
Similar. Cool.
That was unquestionably the help of Allah is near. Assalamu alaikum, guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. If the people that are seen, the people that are responsible, the people who have been given leadership, if they are not pulling their weight, nay, Allah does not require them. Allah does not require anything if He is to help the believer. And here, guys, we have seen Allah helping the believing men and the women through forces of the unseen.
So again, we go back. So he's saying this is the evidence. Apparently, we have now irrefutable evidence that the Israeli soldiers are being attacked by unseen forces. So ghosts or angels, I don't know what Allah is sending them, but these audio files that he's playing for us, apparently that's the evidence. So let's see. Again, he's playing them. He's saying, "I can't see them. I can't see them. We're fighting ghosts. I don't want to die. I've seen my friend dying in front of my eyes." So again, the soldier saying we are fighting ghosts. Okay, I've seen my friend dying in front of my eyes again. Please, Yitzhak, so his friend. Without the Navy and the fighter jets, we still can't beat them. We can't move forward even with our tanks. Let me just write it down. Can't move forward with the tanks because we have to come back to this. They, in parentheses, Palestinian flag. So the Palestinians got nothing to lose. With all the tanks and weapons, we still can't do anything. I want to leave this country. Yuda, calm down and listen. So the other soldier is saying, don't tell me to calm down. You don't see what I see. I'm begging you. I want to leave from here now.
Belief in the
So
what do you think? What do you think about all that audio?
Yeah, this is where I want to try and connect some things. I mean, one, I'm not sure if the audio is genuine or fake. I don't know if I take it in good faith and I say, hey, this really is an IDF soldier and so forth. It feels like to me the person would be making a metaphor and saying like the fighters are behaving in a way where like we can't really get to them, like not actually saying that ghosts are real and that's who the IDF soldiers are fighting, but it feels almost like, and I'm sure he'll tell us explicitly, but it feels almost like what Smile to Jenna is saying is we know Allah sent ghosts in the past to help the Muslim community. This guy is saying they're fighting ghosts. Clearly, Allah has sent ghosts to help this time. Am I putting that together?
You're right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've looked everywhere, right?
Right.
They're not saying where they got this from.
The audio.
The audio, like, how do they know? No, there's no sources for this. I mean, it's not in the description. I looked at other places where they're sharing this. Nobody's saying where they, like, how do they just come to the conclusion that this is authentic?
Sure.
That this is not just somebody who knows Hebrew recording this. Like, I mean, let's say that this is actually an Israeli soldier record,
Right.
And the guy is being genuine, okay? And I will give it to you. Even I'm feeling very charitable today, okay? Let's say he saw ghosts, and it was from Allah. Okay, I'm just gonna give that all to you, okay?
That's
Allah is real.
Okay,
Islam is real. Gazans need help, and Allah is sending ghosts, to fight and protect the Gazans against Israeli.
I'm following so far. What's your problem? What's your problem with this?
Okay, how do you know that this is real? Like, even if that is the case, how have you verified? Like, if I was a Muslim, and I believe that, Allah totally does these things sometimes, right? It's a thing. Ghosts are real, angels are real, Allah is real. These things happen. As a Muslim, wouldn't I want to first, like, okay, but how do I know this is one of those cases? I'm not saying I don't believe. I'm not saying that these things don't happen. I'm putting my Muslim hat on, okay? But don't I want to make sure that this is not fake before I go and get 700,000 views acting like it's real? Again, it could be. As a Muslim, I'm talking as if I'm a Muslim. It could be real. I'm not saying it's not.
Right.
But shouldn't I first verify it? I mean, I'm not providing any sources in the description here.
Right.
I'm not telling you how this has been verified as something real. I mean, a lot of people in the live chat, I've seen a lot of people pointing out, people who speak Hebrew and Arabic, pointing out that this is like very thick Arabic accent to whoever's talking. And a lot of people are saying this is so obviously fake. But again, let's just be charitable. I think like it's real. It's like real. But I still haven't seen any sources. Like, I don't know. Does he not care about his credibility in case it comes out and is proven that this is fake?
Armin, hang on. Look, I appreciate your skepticism. Okay.
Right.
I appreciate you wanting, some type of verification, on this. But the good news is that from, people like Smile to Jenna or Muhammad Hijab or Daniel Hakikaju, we have never had an instance of them fabricating, sources or
right.
misrepresenting anything. Like, for instance, completely misunderstanding a Guardian article, just the headline, because the rest of the article explains it, or just citing a paper that says the exact opposite of what you said it said. We don't have any historical proof of any of them doing that. Do we?
Well, I mean, we did have this. I mean, we had before when Reuters fact-checked Israeli. So yeah, there was a 40, like this was a while back. A 45-second clip was shared repeatedly on Facebook and X, Twitter, captioned Israeli soldiers after returning from Gaza. We fought with ghosts. Okay. I was saved from hell. Netanyahu deceives his people with video and says we are winning. So this was actually quite recent, actually, right? But this was fact-checked by Reuters. Video does not show this, so even the entire translation was wrong. Like but this is very similar. Like this one that we're showing you hasn't been fact-checked, but saying Israeli soldiers are claiming that they were fighting ghosts, and that being fake. This seems to be, we have a history of that happening.
Geez.
This is like
okay. Wow.
So,
I mean,
it's strange that they seem to be obsessed with this whole Israeli soldiers seeing ghosts thing. I think it's
very odd.
I think it's a desire for, what is it called? Machina kind of situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Deus
Ex Machina.
Deus Ex Machina. Yeah, I think that's what, do you want to explain what that is to people? I think that desire for when you feel desperate, and this is what losers do, like the people who are losing the battle and like don't seem it's an inferiority complex. You wish that there's a savior or something, a divine intervention that comes and saves you last minute. The desire for that is so strong that I think this is what is trying to respond to that demand. Like a lot of many Muslims see what they're saying and they just fantasize about something coming and just destroying all the Jews and all the Israeli soldiers, and they fantasize about that. And I think a lot of people who are creating content or fake stories are just trying to feed into that demand, and that's why this video by Small to Jen now is working very well for him right now. But what do you think?
No, I totally agree. And you said this earlier, and I just think it's so funny. Like when you were granting all the stuff for Smile to Jenna, and still it's just like, even if I give you all that stuff, this is still just BS. But like the thought that Allah just sometimes sends ghosts to help people, is very silly. Like, so you're telling me at any point in time, Allah could just send a bunch of invisible, non-physical creatures to go help fight in a battle, and he just doesn't? He just doesn't, like, most of the time? He just leaves this? Like, who does that? That's like taking your best player and benching them for the whole match. Like, what are you doing? You have the ability to win every fight with ghosts. Why are you not
Yeah.
using ghosts all the time, Allah? This is just
But-
stupid. Like, it just shows that if Allah is real and all these things are true, like, he's an idiot. Like, Allah's just completely inept. Like, it doesn't make sense. If I had ghosts at my disposal, I would use them constantly. So
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: how are you still losing, though?
That's a
I
great
mean,
question.
if you have divine support, like if you were losing before, I would be like,
Mhm.
okay, I understand that
Mm.
you are technologically inferior, you're intellectually behind, unfortunately, because of religion and other socioeconomic conditions. I understand why because of the illiberal ways common in many Islamic countries. I understand why you're weaker in economy and an average, in military and technology and science and everything. So I understand why you keep losing wars. Okay, I understand that, but now I don't understand that actually anymore, because you have a god sending you support and you still can't win. Like, how is that shouldn't you be like crushing? I mean, why is Allah sending ghosts and just a few soldiers, or Israeli soldiers, are seeing them? Like, what's the point? Like, if you're sending, shouldn't you just like send enough ghosts for the Israeli army to just be wiped out like completely?
You would
Why
think.
just send, like, Allah was like, okay, let's send them support, and the angels were like, oh my god, we're gonna defeat them, we're gonna defeat the Israeli army, like we're gonna send in like like an army of angels and ghosts and like crush them. Like, no, like three like very powerful ghosts who are just gonna like completely wipe out land. Like, no, they're just gonna make a couple of soldiers piss themselves. I'm like, okay, but how is that gonna turn the tide? It's not just gonna be
You
like,
don't want to send all your ghosts, Armin. You gotta hold something back, Like, what if what if Hamas keeps losing, like what if that keeps happening? Like, what is Allah gonna do then? The ghost didn't work, so he only sends a couple at first, because he's hoping that everybody will just get scared of the ghosts, and then he won't have to send the rest of them. I think it makes sense. I think it does, honestly.
But what is that going? If you're Allah, what is that going to change? I mean, Israel is still like crushing Hamas, and
doesn't,
so
like,
it's not. What is the point of doing that?
Isn't Allah like the literal sustainer of all existence? Like, nothing happens without Allah's blessing. So, like, why is? Do you think this is crazy? This is crazy, Armin. Do you think Allah is on the side of the IDF?
That would be Yahweh, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's probably, you're right. It's Yahweh. So Yahweh is more powerful than Allah. Got it. Got it. We solved it, folks. It's good.
Yeah. We got a super chat. I don't get the super chat. What is
so
this?
I
Thank
believe
you so much,
all colors. Please tell me if I'm correct or wrong on this. But do you know the song Ave Maria?
No.
It's a very famous, like, Western church hymn.
So just
Ave Satanas would be like Hail Satan. And then all colors
Ave
says,
Satanas.
hello.
Hello, guys. Okay.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. Sorry, I didn't understand. All right, but here's the thing. Look at this. Look at his recent videos. I just want you to see the desperate demand for divine intervention. Like, you can see his views are pretty good. Like, look at, he gets 58,000 views, 100,000, 67,000, 100,000, 170. But this one, when it comes to Israeli soldiers seeing ghosts and being scared, gets 700,000 views in 7 days. You can see this is
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to see. This is the thing, I see where you're coming from, Armin.
Yeah.
It's just so hard for me to believe that somebody like Smile to Jenna is maybe, I don't know. It just feels wrong to even suggest that he's just playing up BS so that he can garner views and popularity and fame and so forth, as opposed to like being a genuine actor or something in this space. Like I would hate to believe that he just kind of, you know,
He's
you
using,
see what I'm
using
saying?
his audience. He
Yeah,
knows that this
yeah.
is yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
is he that stupid? So there's either two options here.
right.
Is he that stupid to just see this audio and
Okay.
immediately think like definitely not
Okay.
fake? Definitely, I don't have any
Mhm.
evidence. I don't know where this is coming from. I
Right.
don't know what the source is, but definitely not fake. This is obviously a sign that Allah is sending ghosts
Okay.
to attack Israel. So if he thinks that he's stupid, you know,
Okay.
even by
Yeah.
Islamic standards, you're
Yeah.
stupid, which is
It's
saying a
dumb.
lot, actually. Okay, even if you're even
The
if you
bar is
go as
low.
far as the bar is very low, yes. So that would make so he's either an
Okay.
idiot or
Okay.
evil, which he thinks like
Ooh.
obviously I can't verify this,
Right.
but I know there's a
Spreading
huge
it, right.
demand.
Yeah.
You know, the inferiority complex, the
Mm.
desperation
Mm.
makes this kind of content very hot and in demand. And let me just act like this is real and just, you know, collect the YouTube money from it, you know? So
Wow.
it's one of
Wow.
these two. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I think you made a good case. And again,
Mhm.
guys, I don't know. You decide.
Yeah.
You make up your
Yes,
mind. But yeah, those views were startlingly different. So weird.
So we got two more super chats from All Colors. So All Colors saying, let's call the jinns to fight Allah. I mean, that's not reliable. Jinns, you know, there are many Muslim jinns,
Mhm.
you know, so
Is
not
that
just for you. This is yeah.
I was wondering, is it like a step? Is it like a step up? Like, so first Allah sends ghosts, then Allah sends jinns, then he sends angels. Is that how it works?
Oh,
Are they like in order of
Allah is not
magnitude, like in
supposed. No,
power?
this Allah is not supposed to send ghosts at all. Okay,
Oh,
that is the Israeli, like you using the Hollywood or a Christian mindset and trying to. So if you a proper Muslim would understand that whatever Allah is sending is technically cannot be ghosts, because ghosts are dead people who are coming back to this world, and that is not Islamic. You know, you cannot come back once you're dead. There's no coming back, right?
Oh.
So they're just calling it ghosts, but Islamically they're either jinns or angels. It cannot be
Okay.
ghosts. That's a Christian.
Okay.
That's a Christian. That's a Hollywood mindset that they are
Okay.
trying to describe the world. Yeah.
So
yeah.
jinns,
So
probably. I mean, they're probably really jinns.
probably yeah, because historically God had sent jinns in to fight in armies. You're right. You're right. Yes. Yeah,
I'm glad
historic.
we figured out the true nature of these made up freaking
Yes.
characters now, you know? Like,
Yes.
oh gosh.
So you want to read this one? Because I don't know how to read that. I know you
Yeah.
already read that, but yeah.
All Colors sent us another one and said, yes, actually, it's Ave Satanas in Coitus Infinitus, a quote from Ora Pro Nobis, Lucifer by Behemoth. I believe that means Hail Satan in eternal sex, maybe. That's what I'm guessing.
Okay.
It's
Scene
been a
is
long time
amazing.
since I've done Latin.
All right, let's try to
Yeah,
finish
yeah,
this video.
Belief in the unseen is a major component of Islam. For instance, believe in Allah, believe in the angels, believe in the jinn, believe in heaven, believe in hellfire, and believe in predestination, that Allah knows what is going to happen in the future. Nothing is
Real
out
quick.
of the knowledge of Allah.
Real quick. I just want to point out, when I first heard him make that list, because he said belief in the unseen is like, you know, part of Islam, right? And then he lists all of the things that I think are just obviously fake. I just thought that was really interesting. He's like, yeah, we believe in all this crap. And I'm like, cool. I'm glad you agree with me now that all of this stuff is like unseen BS. You know, you listed Allah, jinns, angels, heaven, hell. You hit them all, buddy. Like, they're all BS. You say unseen, I say imaginary crap. So, you know,
Right,
whatever. Tomato,
unseen
tomato.
or without evidence. Yes,
Right.
The reason, let me just tell you guys why he's saying all of that, right? So when you make a claim, this is the Islamic way of doing it, right? And that you have no evidence for it, then to convince your audience, Muslim audience, that okay, don't doubt me. How dare you? We are supposed to believe in the unseen. That's what's happening here, right? So it's kind of like a silencing attempt at doubters, right? So if you come, let's say I was a Muslim and you were Elliot, you were also a Muslim, and I came like, dude, I totally saw a jinn come and do such and such, and you were like, no way, and I'm like, no way. Let me remind you that as a Muslim, we are required to believe in bullshit, okay, in BS, okay, in crap, right? I like, oh, you're right. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Armin. You have to be like, I'm sorry, Armin. How dare I doubt what you just said? This is a requirement of being a Muslim to believe in this kind of nonsense. I now trust you 100% completely. So this is what's happening here, right? So he shows you the recording, and then after, like, oh, we are required to believe in this crap, so don't you dare doubt me. But if I was a Muslim, I would like, okay, just because I believe in some crap, that doesn't mean I should believe in all the crap, right? So yeah, I believe in the unseen, in jinns and angels. But if I was a Muslim, I would be like, but how dare you suggest that I'm not a Musliming properly just because I'm questioning this specific audio that you're showing us? Like, I still need a source. You just shouting like, oh, we Muslims believe in the unseen, that's not going to do much for me. I need an actual source here. Even as a Muslim, I would require a source.
I just really like the thought of it being like, hey man, like, I saw ghosts. And it's like, oh, I don't believe that. And it's like, well, you believe a bunch of other stupid stuff. Like, why don't you believe my stupid thing? You know?
Right.
And it's like,
yes.
oh,
I mean,
yeah,
you got me.
Okay.
I mean, you got me. Like, do you have like, if like, where's your evidence? Like, do you believe in jinn? Like, yeah. Like, do you have evidence? Like, I guess I believe you. You're right. You got me there. You go on.
So, the problem is, as dumb as that sounds, like, that is kind of what presuppositional Christian apologetics is. It's basically like, well, you don't have an answer for logic, and it's like, yeah, you got me there, and it's like, haha, I don't have an answer for God, therefore God's better. And it's like, I don't think that works. I don't think that's how that works, man. So it's again, I'm sure he'll explain. I'm sure he'll clarify for
me. Well, we'll see.
Subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, in this materialistic and atheistic world, belief in the unseen is something that we forget. No matter how strong our faith may be, our trust becomes on the means rather than the creator of the means, rather than the facilitator of the means, rather than the one that has power over the means, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Indeed, we are told.
So this belief, what he's saying here, has a lot of utility, because sometimes there's a lot of judgment on why this Muslim did that, why that Muslim did that, why Hamas is doing this, for example. Didn't they know that even a lot of Muslims are like, okay, I understand that Israel, like, evil and all, but didn't what Hamas do kind of invited all this pain and suffering on a whole bunch of Muslims? Right. Or like there's a lot of criticism within the Muslim world, like, why are all these other Arab countries not coming and helping the Palestinians right now? Like, there is 22 Arab countries, there's one Jewish country. Like, if all these Muslim countries united, they could easily take out Israel. So why, like,
we're just taking why is nobody refugees?
Yeah, or refugees, like, well, that's not what they're saying mostly, but yeah, or that. But they could be like, why is Israel has so much international support? All these Muslim countries are not supporting Palestine. So there's a lot of criticism being thrown around by Muslims right now, and this is a perfect way to shut that down, right? And like, they're like, why are you like relying on these other things that are not Allah? Right? Yeah. Just rely on Allah. Allah. And this is, for example, recently Elon Musk came out and said some things about Palestine and Israel that a lot of Muslims liked, and people were like, a lot of Muslims were like, oh my God, base. And then eventually he came and he did a 180, and now he's meeting with Netanyahu, and now a lot of Muslims hate that, and you're like, this is how you respond to this. So like, this reminds us for us not to rely on anybody other than Allah alone. So we shouldn't have had hopes for anybody like Elon Musk except Allah. But then tomorrow another celebrity comes and says something mildly positive about what they like, and they fall for that.
Yeah.
They were like they just completely fall in love with it. And then it keeps happening over and over again. Yeah.
I think that's good though, and this is just me, coming from my ex-Christian, US background, right? I think it's great that they put their faith in only Allah, because you're right. These celebrities and politicians, they let people down. Allah's never let anybody down. He's never once failed to do something that a true believing Muslim, knows is correct. Like, for instance, all of the Uyghurs in China, Allah came through there. Oh, he didn't actually. Okay.
Well, I mean, there's a message in that for you. He's letting them suffer for you to learn something. So
there you
actually,
go, guys.
this is beautiful.
There you go.
This is how it works, right? So either Allah is providing you an opportunity to do something, that's why he's letting people suffer, or he does something and then you realize that there was nothing for you to do other than just trusting in Allah. So it's like
there you go. You see, like, you win no matter what.
Yes. So if something miraculous happens and you like it, then of course you shouldn't have relied on your own capabilities or other people. You should have only relied on Allah. Yeah. But if Allah doesn't do anything, it's because you should be relying on because you should be doing something, not Allah. Allah is testing you. That's why he doesn't do anything. So you can have it both ways.
Does anybody see how messed up and gross this is? Or is it just you and me, Armin? Are we the only ones? Like, oh my God.
I mean, you need a theory that covers all possible outcomes.
That's right.
This is winner. You win no matter what, right?
That's
like whatever happens, you have an explanation for it. Yeah,
screw it. It all works out in the end. Yeah. No, God's got us. Don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah. Or not. That's what he's testing us. Yeah. All right, let's continue.
By our elders using many analogies such that it is not the fire that burns without the permission of Allah. It is not the medicine that cures without the permission of Allah. Nay, we have seen many cases and instances where medicine,
they genuinely think that, I was taught this at school. So like, even if you if I eat an apple, like the apple goes into my blood system, and before it provides me nutrition, it was like, hold up 1 second, Allah, may I provide nutrition to this body? And Allah is like, yeah, sure. And like, thank you. And like, it asks permission. Like when an electron decides to spin a certain way, it's literally like, this is not metaphorical. Like, it's literally, I'm using the word literal in its actual correct format. Okay. It asks permission from Allah. Like, may I spin this way? And I'm like, sure. And that's why every single subatomic particle, every single thing happens. They're all like sentient beings, apparently, that can talk and ask for permission. So yeah, if your medicine is helping you feel better, it's not because of the medicine is capable of doing anything. The medicine is asking permission from Allah, and Allah is allowing the medicine to do that to your body. That is actual belief. Yeah,
there's so much here that is so dumb, okay? And it so, like, for instance, is it like, could Allah do that with like anything? Could Allah make just like an apple the same as like cancer medicine? Like, is that how that works? Like, Allah could just choose to make of this plastic straw whatever he wanted at any point in time, and he just doesn't. That's so weird. But on top of that, imagine if that's true. Every little thing, every time your dog poops, right before it happens, Allah goes, yep, that's a good
poop.
Good
Yes, yes.
So the
yes.
reason I bring that up
I mean,
is
I
because
have better examples that I can't even say on YouTube.
right,
but yeah,
right. I tried to
what I'm
keep it as
thinking.
PG as possible, right? I
Yeah,
tried to keep it
yeah.
right in the middle. But I have heard Dawa people before making fun
Mm.
of Christians, okay? And they say, "Oh, you silly Christians. Your God was a man. Your Jesus, right? He pooped. How could your God poop? That's so silly. That's so stupid." When in reality, their God is constantly standing over watching as insects have sex. When a grasshopper goes up to another grasshopper and is like, "Let's get busy tonight," right before that happens, remember, Allah okayed that.
Yeah,
Like,
so this is the Christian response should be like, okay, our God poops, but your God talks to poop.
constantly, all the time. Like, it is a constant
Every
thing.
second, he has conversations with poop. Every second of every day.
Ugh. It's so stupid. It's so dumb.
Right,
It's so
right,
dumb.
right. But also, here's another thing. Actually, every time an IDF soldier is pulling the trigger, the bullet that hits, the Hamas militant, or
Right.
unfortunately civilians, sometimes
Hmm.
it's asking permission from Allah to take the life of that Palestinian, and it's
Wow.
Allah who's giving the permission for
'Cause
that
it-
to happen every single time, because the bullet could do nothing, because the bullet itself
right.
does nothing.
It does
The
nothing.
bullet, like just like that medicine that he said, the
Wow.
bullet itself does nothing. It's
Wow.
Allah's will that is doing all of that.
Wow.
So it's Allah that's being genocidal here.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That puts a weird perspective on this, huh, Smile? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
That it is not the fire that burns without the permission of Allah. It is not the medicine that cures without the permission of Allah. Nay, we have seen many cases and instances where medicine, despite being taken in the right proportion at the right time, has had absolutely no effect. That's because the effect comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything that we see around.
I mean, that is as scientific as you could get, Like, he has instances where people took medicine and had no evidence, and this just proved his entire claim. That's how this is science. This is a scientific experiment. Like, he has just proven. I don't know where
we've seen it. I mean, come on, you all know about an instance where somebody took medicine for something and it didn't fix the problem. I mean, you all know about that. Clearly, it's Allah. I mean, who else could it be? What else could it be?
Do we require an A/B testing or anything?
No,
double-blind study? No, okay, no, we don't.
What are you doing? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
We believe, Armin. We believe in. We already believe
unseen.
in stupid stuff. So come on.
Yes, that would make it. If we did that, it would
Right.
be believing in the seen, not in the unseen.
Exactly, bro.
Yes. Okay.
Exactly.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you. All right.
Effect. That's because the effect comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Everything that we see around us. And that is why we should invoke Allah. And that is why we have books filled with invocations and supplications to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that we need to make sure He is an integral part of our life. Because it is indeed Allah that makes the possible impossible and the impossible possible. And what is that condition?
How are you still losing then? I don't understand. If you have this magical forces, you keep losing. Why are you so behind on everything? I don't get it.
Also, why do you have to try so hard to make Allah an integral part of your life? If Allah is literally, if nothing happens without Allah's permission, it sounds like you don't have to do anything, and Allah is like super a part of your life. I just don't understand. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but He wants you to. Okay,
he still wants you to like beg for all this stuff.
Yes,
is that
yes,
okay?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, but that you're making fun of that, but that's actually what they say. Jeez. No, like the whole Allah having a huge ego, and that's okay for Allah, but not okay for us. We learned that. Like, okay, yeah, so Allah has a lot of pride. He has a huge ego. He is very obsessed with himself, and they say that as a compliment, and like that sounds like bad, but it's only bad for humans. if your Allah is legitimate for you to be this self-obsessed and so in love with yourself and so full of pride, because obviously you're the greatest thing ever, so that would be justified. So we learned that in school. Yeah,
that is the absolute craziest justification for an abuser going back to their abusive partner. Like, that is what that is. It's like, no. The reason you get beaten is because your partner actually is that cool. Like,
yeah,
he's a pretty big deal, you know? Like, you should be sorry. Jesus Christ, that's terrible. Ugh, okay,
yeah.
you've depressed me so much this morning, man.
All right, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
that makes the possible impossible and the impossible possible. And what is that condition? You have to be righteous. وَهُوَ يَتَوَلَّى الصَّالِحِينَ. And Allah is the guardian of the salihin, of the righteous, if one is righteous. And as we are seeing through many clips that are emerging from Gaza, people that have had their houses decimated and their families destroyed, they still say, Ahadun Ahad, one Allah, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil.
Wait. I see a contradiction here. Let me hold on. Let's go back a second.
Life, because it is indeed Allah that makes the possible impossible and the impossible possible. And what is that condition? You have to be righteous. وَهُوَ يَتَوَلَّى الصَّالِحِينَ. And Allah is the guardian of the
Allah is the guardian of the Salihin, of the guardian.
be righteous. وَهُوَ يَتَوَلَّى الصَّالِحِينَ. And Allah is the guardian of the salihin, of the righteous.
Okay, so Allah, premise number one, Allah is the guardian of the righteous. Okay, premise one. Okay,
one is righteous. And as we are seeing through many clips that are emerging from Gaza, people that have had their houses decimated and their families destroyed, they still say Ahadun Ahad, one Allah, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. It is indeed to Allah whom we put our trust. And we have
Okay, so the people in Gaza, the ones he's mentioning specifically, it seems that he's suggesting that they be righteous, right?
That's what it feels like he's saying. Yeah.
Okay. So
that's how Allah helps people.
But is he helping though? I mean, don't you see a contradiction?
He sent
Allah is the guardian of righteous, and these people that he's mentioning are righteous.
Right.
Seems like he's not doing a very good job of being a guardian though. I mean, yes, a couple of soldiers saw some ghosts and they got scared, but that's not going far enough in the protecting. It's not really I mean, I'm watching the news every day. Do you see any protecting happening? It seems like United States has done a better job protecting Palestinians by getting the ceasefire, pressuring Israel to give a ceasefire for food and medicine and other stuff to get in. It seems like getting a couple soldiers scared from seeing ghosts didn't do much help to Palestinians. But United States coming in and giving a 6-day, first 4-day, and then there was extended ceasefire, that really helps all the Palestinians a lot. Who's doing a better job in being the guardian of Palestinians here? United States government or Allah?
So I didn't see any aid trucks coming from Jenna. Nothing falling from the sky, manna from heaven or anything. It does make me wonder though. There is another way you could take this, Armin, and I don't know if this is what Smile to Jenna is trying to say here, but if he's saying Allah helps the righteous, right? And then he's talking about Hamas and Allah isn't helping Hamas. Do you think he's saying Hamas isn't righteous? Do you think he's making that claim?
No, because he's talking about civilians
right,
in Gaza as well. Right, so is he saying, because he specifically said they're righteous?
Yeah,
but they're not being helped. I don't know what he's talking about. Unless this is all the help. Okay, dear people in Gaza, I know you are suffering. I know you're watching your children die in front of you. I know that you have seen people that you love lose their limbs and scream in pain and agony right in front of you. I know you've seen children that have lost their entire families. and there are nobody now to take care of them. I know that all of this destruction in Gaza is going to be bringing decades of poverty and even more radicalism for you in the future. But here's the thing. Allah made 2 or 3 Israeli soldiers cry. So there you go.
Pretty good.
There you go. They saw some ghosts and they panicked. I mean, what more can you ask for? What more, like, seriously, what more can you ask for?
Yeah.
Does that not fill you with joy and happiness?
Should.
Does that not complete your life? I think maybe all of the suffering, maybe it was worth it. Maybe maybe it was like, maybe you were made whole and then some. After losing all of that, it was worth seeing a couple of audio files from some Israeli soldiers being afraid. I think Allah is completely protecting it. Has it back. I mean,
Kind of, yeah, kind of makes Allah look like a schmuck. Kind of makes him look like a worthless,
really
inept, yeah, piece of crap. Yeah, that's just my take. Hey, I could be wrong. That's just my take.
Yeah,
but
right.
Yeah, makes him look pretty crappy.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but you did. Kenny, thank you so much for the €5 super chat. Thank you so much. And we have Nathrin from Sweden saying that. Hi, Nathrin. Nathrin saying, thanks, guys. In difficult time, I need to laugh. Thank you. You're welcome. It's dark humor. We need it sometimes. Yeah. Let's continue.
I've seen numerous examples from even our history as well. For example, the Battle of Badr, where the Muslims were 313 against an army of 1,000. Yet Allah sent angels to assist and aid the Muslimin. We saw Ibrahim alayhi salam, who was being thrown into the fire, but Allah had not commanded the fire to burn, therefore it did not burn. And Ibrahim alayhi salam went into the fire, yet he had the best time of his life. And is it any wonder that these people that are being oppressed, and in Islam we know that even if a non-Muslim makes a dua against the Muslim oppressor, indeed Allah will hear and aid even the non-believer against the believer. Why? Because oppression is not something Allah likes. And now,
okay, so I like how he makes it so obvious how he's dividing the world into believer and non-believer.
Right.
And what is clearly, But listen to this: the oppressed versus the. Look at this.
We know that even if a non-Muslim makes a dua against the Muslim oppressor, indeed Allah will hear and aid even the non-believer against the believer.
So I want you to notice when he says even the non-believer, right? So he thinks he's being. This shows how amazing Islam is, right? And a lot of people might not notice how disgusting what he's saying here is, because it sounds pretty nice. It sounds like, look, Islam is not a religion of, that considers Muslims to only be the one who have the access to the blessings of Allah, right? But imagine if I said this. I mean, I don't even know if I could say it on YouTube, right? Imagine if I said, God even answers. He even answers the prayers of Black people. He even answers that. Isn't he amazing? Isn't God amazing? He sometimes answers the prayers of Black people. I mean, I know a lot of people are not don't see the disgust when in Islam, the way it talks about unbelievers, because we haven't been trained to see how disgusting that is. But when I put it in that format, a lot of people, that that gut negative reaction that you have, if I remove the word unbeliever and I put the word Black in there, and if I put the word Jew in there, a lot of you all of a sudden get it right away how disgusting this is. But unfortunately, we haven't been trained to feel the same way when religions talk about unbelievers. But we have to, because it is just as disgusting. And a lot of people say, like, no, Armin, the reason why we are more disgusted when it comes to when people talk about this regarding Black people and Jewish people is because there's a history there and there's a background there. I'm like, well, let me tell you, there's also a history even discrimination against unbelievers. So I think you should be just as disgusted.
Do you not know the story stories from Islam itself. It's like, hey, we did this thing. Just let you know. Like, it's weird that they
They
catalog
brag about it.
Yeah,
They
they're very
brag
proud.
about it.
Very proud of it.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to throw this out there and tell me if you think it makes any sense. Again, it kind of makes Allah seem crappy, because basically what Smile to Jenna is saying is, hey guys, as believing Muslims, Allah's on our side, but be careful, because he actually plays both sides. He'll sell weapons to either side, just whoever just strokes his ego a little bit. That's really weird. That doesn't make your God look really cool, you know? It makes your God look
No,
crappy.
what he's saying is that God is against the oppressors. That's what he's saying, no matter what, right?
But isn't So I'm following you. And again, I don't know. I don't have the background. I wasn't raised in this, so help me out. Doesn't the word Islam literally mean submission?
Yeah, but that's the only kind of oppression that is fine. So that would be Islamic oppression.
Right.
If it's done in the right way, then that's the okay oppression.
So
yeah,
Allah
I know
doesn't
what
like
you mean.
oppression,
But he can
except
oppress
for the one that he likes.
Yeah, except the one when he does it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't. Don't think about it too
I
hard
already
here.
believe nonsense. It's fine. I got it.
Yeah.
I'm on board. I'm on board.
Yeah. I mean, they I don't know if these are the same people who constantly brag about the Islamic expansion, the Islamic empire taking over and succeeding in war after war and basically spreading Islam through conquest, right?
Yeah.
They see that as just, right? They see that as something to be proud of in Islamic history. And I don't know if they understand what oppression really means when they don't see that as oppression, and they don't see that and endorse that. They're like, oh yeah, Allah is against the oppressors. Well, Allah's religion literally spread through oppression. That's how his Islam. Yes, exactly. I mean, it is. You're right. It is commanded within Islam for you to do that, for you to force your religion upon people. But that's not oppression, because that's Islam, right? So if you put an Islamic stamp on it, then technically that's not oppression.
It's I can't believe it's not oppression. Nope, it's Islam, guys. I love that. Oh my God, that's just terrible. And oh my God.
Yeah, that's a very good name. That's a very good name for Islam. I can't believe it's not oppression.
Believe it's not oppression. Man, oh my gosh. Guys, look at this. Look at this book. I thought it was real oppression, but in reality, it's just Islam.
It's Islam.
Like,
it's just
half
Islam.
half the calories, half the fun. Oh my God. It's so weird. And it's like the weirdest cheat code ever. It's like, if you have that mentality, you can just do whatever you want. You can just go around slaughtering people and enslaving people. And then when somebody's like, hey man, that's wrong, you can just be like, no, it's not wrong. It's my type of oppression. It's the best type. Like, it's I didn't murder those people. I sent them to heaven. I sent them to Allah. That's the best thing you could do. And it's like, okay, but you did kill them in cold blood. And it's like, nope, no, I didn't. It's not oppression. It's Islam. Yes. I mean, seriously. Beautiful.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
Why? Because oppression is not something Allah likes. And now when we see our leaders standing by and watching our brothers and sisters be massacred, Allah is not in need of you people. You are in need of Allah. For wallahi, for our leaders, I fear for them. I fear for what they will go through in this world and in the hereafter as well. And that is why when Khilafat...
Here's a thing. That's a very dangerous. So I was, if I'm gonna put my Muslim hat on, okay? I'm gonna put my Muslim hat on one more time. And I was gonna send some donation to Gaza, all right? But Smile to Jannah said this.
Wallahi, for our leaders, I fear for them. I fear. Allah is not in need of you people.
Okay, so that's here. We are not needed. Look at
And
this.
now,
Oh,
when we see our leaders standing by and watching our brothers and sisters be massacred, Allah is not in need of you people. You are in need of Allah. For
do you know how dangerous that is beyond just this whole Israel and Gaza? You know, putting everything in the hands of Allah means that a lot of times that will be used as an excuse for you not to help your fellow human beings. I have seen that time and time again, you know, growing up myself in an Islamic country. This is the best excuse you could have in not getting involved in helping your fellow human beings.
It's almost
A
like
lot of
thoughts and
times what they
prayers.
do,
Thoughts and prayers don't do
yeah,
anything.
right.
Just an excuse to make
I
people
mean, we
feel
saw,
better at night.
yeah, I mean, we saw this with Muhammad Hijab as well.
Mm.
He has a lot of audience, and what he asks for from his audience in support of people in Gaza is prayers.
Oh,
Not even, here's the thing, not even thoughts. Like, you thought thoughts and prayers
wow.
were bad. These
Just
are
prayers.
just prayers.
Jeez,
Like,
don't even think about it. My God. My God. Talk about the corrosion that is religion of a mindset. It's like, hey, I'm literally telling you, don't even think, man. Don't even think, just pray. Like, my God. Yeah. Dua's better than charity, apparently.
Yeah. And here's the problem. The problem is that a lot of charity right now, even to Gaza, is going straight to Hamas. So people don't even know how to help people.
They were blocking freaking trucks of aid.
They stole the fuel
Like,
from the, you know, from all the donation, all the help that was coming in. The Hamas just went in and just stole it. Oh, they also steal the food and sell it back to the people in Gaza with a much higher price.
Anti-Palestinian at their core. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Is that not just obvious to people?
Perfectly said. So we got a super chat from all colors saying, I can tell you a thing or two on how the Arabs. Okay, so guys, we have to be careful not to generalize, right? So some Arabs, right? The Arabs treated my ethnicity, Sardinian, in the Middle Ages when they tried to conquer our land. Okay, yeah, I know, like, we have a lot of this in history, but we have to make sure that we do not speak as if we are condemning Arabs, right? So there are some Arabs at some point did something bad in history. Even back then, it was not all of them, but just every ethnicity and every group of people has people within it that have committed atrocities. I think almost, I don't know if there's any ethnicity out there that hasn't done anything.
No.
Is there?
Yeah, they've probably they've probably died off or been killed.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. At some point in time, every group of people does terrible things. It is true.
Yes.
But that it doesn't define everybody. So
yes, so we try to all in the name of Islam, exactly. So what we try to do, we try to focus on the ideology, and we condemn that rather than trying to condemn, you know, Muslims as a whole, or Arabs or something like that. So we focus on the ideology. And you're saying true. Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Let's continue.
Wallahi, for our leaders, I fear for them. I fear for what they will go through in this world and in the hereafter as well.
This is part of the condemnation that I was talking about the leaders. Like, so these a lot of Muslims around the world are angry at the Saudi government or the Egyptian government or the Jordanian government, all of these other governments. For what the hell are you guys doing? Why are you not supporting our people in Gaza, right? So you saw right from the beginning, Egypt and Jordan came in and they said, like, we are accepting zero refugees from Gaza, like not a single one. They were very, very adamant about mentioning that, like, there's no way that we're gonna. So a lot of people noticed that, and a lot of people noticed how Saudi Arabia recently, their minister came in and like, oh yeah, normalization of relationship with Israel is still completely what we're trying to do here. This doesn't change anything. So this frustrates. Right now there's a huge tension between leaders, especially of Arab countries and their population, because of their lack of support for the people in Gaza and lack of aggression against Israel. And this could there's a just it's the kind of opposite of Iran, where the people in Iran are very pro-Israel, many of them, and the government is very anti-Israel and actually does a lot to support militants in Gaza. The other Muslim countries is the opposite. The people there are very pro-Palestinian. I mean, we are pro. I shouldn't say pro-Palestinian, anti-Israeli, because pro-Palestinians, we should be pro-Palestinian. We should be both pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli, right? But they're anti-Israeli with the excuse of being pro-Palestinian, and the governments are trying to, they recognize Israel as a power and an economic heavyweight, and they want to make sure that they understand the benefits of having normalized relationship with Israel. So they're trying to lean into that. And this is basically, when you hear that, you're like, oh, I fear for our leaders. Basically, this is part of a wave of warnings to the Islamic leaders that, God will punish you in this world and the next. That's what's happening.
I'm sure he and others like him were just as upset about like the Rohingya in Myanmar when they were kicked out of their homes and slaughtered indiscriminately, the Muslim community there. I'm sure they were just as upset about what's been happening in Yemen, right? I'm sure they were.
Yes, very much. They were so
equal
sad.
levels of outrage, because if not, it would almost feel like the only reason they're saying anything about this is so that they could, I don't know, really latch on to anti-Semitic, like arguments and stuff. And that would be,
I mean, I made a video about this.
Yeah. Maybe there's some evidence of that.
There seems to be a double standard here when it comes to whether who's involved, whether Jews are involved in inflicting pain on Muslims or not. It seems to be more about the anti-Jewish hatred than supporting fellow Muslims.
Are there any links back like to Islam, like at its core for that, or is that just like all that's just all like propaganda, like Western propaganda?
Just a few genocidal hadiths about the Jews, just like not that many, like just a couple. And Muhammad himself killing an entire tribe of Jewish men.
And he is supposed to be the model for all Muslims at all time.
Yeah, and selling the women and children into slavery. So not just a few, not that much though.
Okay.
All colors is saying, I speak of Arabs as in the Arab Empire. Okay, yep. So that's good, but just make sure that you mention that you're talking about the empire, just so that people don't misunderstand what you're saying. All right, let's continue.
Well, that is why when Khilafat was given to Abu Bakr radiallahu anh, he did not want it, and he tried to avert it as much as possible. And same with our other leaders of the past like Umar bin Abdul Aziz and the likes. And that is why when our brothers and sisters supplicate, and that is why when our Gazan brothers and sisters supplicate, chapter 3 verse 5 comes to mind, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in the heavens and in the earth, nothing is hidden from Allah. Allah is seeing everything that is happening and taking place. And that is why scores of people are accepting Islam just by seeing the resolve of our God.
So this is actually very true. A lot of Westerners are now becoming Muslim in response to an act of genocide by an Islamic terror group against Jewish people. And this has inspired a lot of Westerners to turn into Islam, which is kind of the opposite of what we saw when ISIS came into power. When ISIS came into power, a lot of people saw what ISIS did and they left Islam. This time is the opposite. This time we are seeing the greatest act of genocide against Jewish people since World War II. And a lot of Generation Z people in the West are looking at that like, yes, that is, I want to become that religion. Do you know, Elliot, what ISIS did wrong? Why did ISIS not have this impact on Westerners?
I have a guess, but it's kind of gross. I have a guess though, and it's ISIS didn't attack Jewish people. Oh, okay.
You got
Oh man,
right.
man, they just
So
killed Muslims and Christians and non-religious
mostly
people, and
Muslims,
yeah,
mostly
okay,
Muslims. Yeah.
okay,
So ISIS
weird,
didn't manage to gain an
weird,
appeal among all these Westerners because they
huh,
were just killing other Muslims. So
huh,
for ISIS to be able to enjoy this level of acceptance in the
huh,
West, like Hamas is right now, what they should, okay, I shouldn't even say this,
hmm,
what they shouldn't have done, but I can't even say it because YouTube might
right,
think I'm saying it.
right,
But yes, so you see what I'm going at with this,
yeah,
okay? Again, YouTube,
yeah.
I'm not endorsing this. I'm just trying to point
No,
how
apparently that's the winning
reliable.
strategy. Apparently that's what you
Yes,
do is you play into the anti-Semitism
yeah,
that's rife in the world.
yeah.
And then
It's the
that
most reliable hatred to bank on. Like you get,
it's
this is the
disgusting.
response.
It's really
Yeah.
gross. And actually this go back just a few seconds and let him finish this whole thought, because the whole thought is
Okay,
really
good.
gross. It's really, really
Of
gross.
heavens and in the earth, nothing is hidden from Allah. Allah
Right.
is seeing everything that is happening and taking place. And that is why scores of people are accepting Islam just by seeing the resolve of our Gazan brothers and sisters. And as for the
Okay.
Israelis,
Hang on right there. I want to break that down for a second because I'm a little unsure what he's saying. He said literally, bunch of people in the West converting to Islam because they see the resolve of our Gazan brothers and sisters. So is he talking about the civilians? Is he talking about the civilians that he's been talking about being massacred? Is that who he's saying they're seeing the resolve from? Or is he talking about the so-called freedom fighters that he would advocate for in Hamas? Is that what he's saying? Is he directly saying what you mentioned a minute ago, that there are a bunch of people in the West converting to Islam because they support a genocidal terrorist organization? Is he admitting that? Because I don't want
I
to
don't
level that
know.
accusation. But if it's from
Yeah,
his
I don't think
mouth,
he would. I don't think he would say that. We'll see. We'll see.
okay.
Because that's my interpretation. I don't know if he's going to say that directly. Let's see.
who have become blind with rage and hatred, who are carpet bombing the Palestinians. It reminds me of a quote that says, "They have set out to change their fate, but they are only sealing it." For naturally, they won't be able to kill everybody. And those that survive will be joining the very force, Hamas, that they want to vanquish. Because any
I feel like he just said it.
Mm.
I feel like he just said it. Did
Mm-hmm.
are we wrong
Yeah.
there? Did he literally just say the IDF won't be able to kill every member that supports Hamas, every person out there that supports the genocidal, disgusting, atrocious views and actions of Hamas, and that will ultimately result in us, again, the us there being the people that he agrees with, the supporters of Hamas, ultimately genociding all the Jewish people? Is that what he's saying, Armin? Am I misunderstanding this?
I could not believe that he actually said it like
Okay.
this, because these people usually shy away from saying this outright like this. When I first heard this, I went back 3 times. I was like, he's not saying it.
Okay.
Like, that would be insane. That would be
Right.
I mean, he's one of the biggest Islamic YouTube channels out there.
Right.
Like, if you look at Muhammad Hijab and even Ali Dawah, for as stupid as he is, he kind of knows that he cannot directly say that. Like, even when he wanted to call Hamas freedom fighters, he said some people will consider them freedom fighters. Right? He didn't say it. But this guy, for some reason, just went out and completely said it. And when I was, let me admit something to you. I could not believe that he's saying it this openly. I went back and I turned on the captions just to make sure that I'm not just mishearing.
Let's do that. Seriously, let's do that, because there's no way that this creator with this large of a platform, 700 some odd thousand views on this video, there's no way that he
Right.
is openly saying what we think he said. There's no way he is suggesting. There's no
Yeah.
way.
Well,
We must be wrong.
listen. Yeah, listen.
Naturally, they won't be able to kill everybody. And those that survive will be joining the very force, Hamas, that they want to vanquish. Because anybody at that time that sees their family from being murdered, you can literally take a pen and wipe out the rest of their life and just write warrior. That person, now they have no life. They have no
Warrior. So he's calling Hamas warrior. And again, the word Hamas was there. See? Right
Yeah,
here.
he says
see?
it. He says
So
it.
it's Hamas. Yeah, he says it. This is
Holy
complete
crap.
warrior. He's calling them warriors.
How does that not violate YouTube's terms of service? I want to understand that. I want to understand
700,000 views.
How does that not violate the terms of service? This is an individual that is openly advocating for people to join a genocidal organization, an organization that is genocidal by their own admission. They say in their charter, this is what we want to do. Guys, actively promoting terrorism.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a subtle thing that we also missed here. I just want to go a little bit back because I want to point that out as well here.
Umar bin Abdul Aziz and the likes. And that is why when our brothers and sisters supplicate, and that is why when our Gazan brothers and sisters supplicate, chapter 3 verse 5 comes to mind, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in the heavens and in the earth, nothing is hidden from Allah. Allah is seeing everything that is happening and taking place. And that is why scores of people are accepting Islam just by seeing the resolve of our Gazan brothers and sisters. And
so this part you were correct when he says resolve. That gives a little more context to what he's saying here. So when I was saying this is in response to Hamas fighters, people becoming Muslims, he's also acknowledging that. I also showed you some videos before we went live about how much people, Generation Z people in the United States are not supporting just Palestinians, but Hamas directly.
Openly.
And a lot of these people, and a lot of these Generation Z Westerners who are becoming Muslim, they are pro-Hamas, right? Not pro-Palestinians, not pro-Gazans, but pro-Hamas. So so now that we went back a little bit, when he says they're noticing the resolve, we know what he's talking about. But let's go forward. This is the part that I wanted to make sure that we also...
As for the Israelis who have become blind with rage and hatred, who are carpet bombing the Palestinians, it reminds me of a quote that says, they have set out to change their fate, but they are only sealing it. For naturally, they won't be able to kill everybody. And those that survive...
He's saying, naturally, they won't be able to kill everybody. I just wanted to remind everybody, they can easily. Right, the Israeli military has enough the capacity to kill everybody in Gaza within less than 24 hours, easy, right? And I just want people to understand that the reason why they don't do it is not because they can't do it. The reason why they don't do it is because they don't want to do it. And again, I always remind people that the reason why Palestinians are alive in Gaza is because the Israeli military doesn't want to kill all Palestinians in Gaza. But the reason why Israeli people are alive right now in Israel is because Hamas can't kill every single Israeli. Right? So one of them is because Israel military doesn't want to kill all the Gazans. The other one is because Hamas isn't able to. They can't. So that's a huge difference. There's a huge difference. If Hamas had the military capability that Israel has, there would be mass genocide today, starting within the next hour, until every single Israeli person is dead.
Yeah. And that is a massive difference. And I'm frustrated by the people who I don't know if they're choosing not to see it or they don't want to accept the difference there. But if one individual is coming up to you with a knife and attempting to kill you and take all your possessions, and in the process of that individual trying to do that, you fight back and end up killing that person, does anybody honestly believe that those two things are equivalent? Does anybody honestly believe that? You have from the first person the explicit intention of taking somebody's life. That is what you have on the side of Hamas. You have a group of people who, at the core, as a main ideology, is to eradicate the world of an entire group of people for no other reason than the fact that their religion tells them to do it. That's what it is. If that is not the explicit definition of genocide, then I just don't know what is. On top of that, recently, and you told me this right before the stream, recently, one of the hostages that was freed by Hamas in this ceasefire that Allah didn't provide, other governments did, weird, but one of the individuals that the Israeli forces got back was a 16-year-old Muslim girl. Who commits genocide like that? Who commits genocide risking their own civilians to save the life of an individual from a group that you're supposedly intending to wipe off the face of the planet? It doesn't make a single bit of sense. It doesn't make a single bit of sense. It's just, it's ridiculous, man. There is no equivalency here. There is no equivalency between these two sides. Like, I don't know. I really,
That's about her.
Yep, Aisha. Yeah. Yep, that's the individual. That was an individual that go ahead.
Muslim Israeli taken hostage by Hamas.
Yeah. Who is really on the side of the Palestinian people? Who is really on the side of Muslims? Who is really on the side of progress and making a better life for the millions of people in Gaza? Because it sure as hell isn't Hamas. And it's just so obvious that that is the case. Who blocked civilians from leaving the areas that the IDF gave notice, weeks of notice that they were going to bomb? Who blocked those people? Hamas. Who blocked aid trucks and stole the things from them and sold it to the Palestinians, sold it back to them? Who did that? It was Hamas. Just don't get that twisted, you guys. Do not get that twisted. So crazy, man. Crazy. He's openly advocating for people to join Hamas. That's what he's saying. He's openly advocating for that. And he's on YouTube. He's on YouTube. How does that not violate terms of service?
Yeah. Also, Unicorn has a good point. He mentioned that they were carpet bombing Gaza. Yeah. I don't think he understands what carpet bombing means. That is not even remotely close to what carpet bombing is like.
Yeah. I don't think he understands any of this.
Yeah.
Will be joining the very force, Hamas, that they want to vanquish. Because anybody at that time that sees their family from being murdered, you can literally take a pen and wipe out the rest of their life and just write warrior. That person, now they have no life. They have no aim other than fighting and avenging the memory of their family. Let's leave it there, guys. Until next time. Assalamu alaikum.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I just, man. I mean, yeah, we make fun and you know, we laugh and stuff. We point out how stupid a lot of it is, you know, but guys, just let's, for a moment here, let's be clear-headed about this. At the end of that almost 7-minute video, a man with hundreds of thousands of followers, 700,000+ views on that video, he openly advocated for people to join a terrorist genocidal organization. That's what happened. That's what happened, you guys. That's what happened. Now, that happened. That's a real thing. That's a real thing. You can see it. He uploaded that video. He wrote a script for it. He recorded it. He edited it, posted it. He did all that.
I just actually, and I also just noticed that the cover that he used for this video is of Israeli soldiers mourning the death of people they love. And he used that to show that they're fearing, as a way to show that they're fearing ghosts. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just want to.
I'm trying so hard, and I just feel like my brain is already overloaded by so much nonsense that, like, it's hard for me to further wrap my head around that insanity. Because I didn't notice that either. Like, I didn't notice that either. I was just so blown away by what he said. Because again, we started the video with him saying, guys, guess what? Allah's sending ghosts to help us now in Gaza. Like, that's where we started. And we ended with him advocating for people to join Hamas. But you're right. You're right. The thumbnail he chose was of Israeli soldiers grieving the loss of other soldiers, loved ones, friends, family, that type of thing, in an attempt to get people to say that what the IDF believes in ghosts now. It's all very confusing. But what isn't confusing is the absolute atrocious nature of somebody advocating people to join Hamas. And not just like today, mind you, by the way, okay? He said, like, in perpetuity. He's talking about generations of people joining Hamas is what he was referencing there. And pointing to all of the people in the United States and Western countries writ large that are happily, excitedly converting to Islam because they, I guess, want to join Hamas. I guess that's what he's trying to say. I don't know. It's depressing, Armin. This is not the way I wanted to wake up this morning. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel sometimes like this is all going in the wrong direction. However, just to give people some hope, I just want to remind everybody that, I don't know, the battles between the English and the Irish that seemed to be impossible to resolve at some point, and now things are so much better. The genocide that we had in Serbia, that seemed like such deep-rooted hatred that will not be resolved, but you can see right now that we have peace and stability there. United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan, and within less than a generation right now, Japan and United States are allies, closest, friends when it comes to international affairs. So I just want to say, like, sometimes we look at these things and we just like think like there's no hope, everything is going to crap. But I'm just saying, like, we shouldn't give up. We've seen things change for the better very fast in other places. So I mean, I do see at some point having, Arabs and Jews and atheists and religious people in the Middle East living side by side with, but much, very little hostility. I do see that in our future. So even with all of this, I still see that in our future. So let's not give up on that. Okay.
I agree. I like that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. That's a good message. I totally agree with that. And I think in part, one thing that is super, super helping with us getting to a place like that is more and more people stepping away from crap ideologies that perpetuate this garbage. The more that we as humans stop believing in this nonsense and stop accepting more nonsense, the more likely we will to get to that place. So it's good to see, even with all those people that Smile to Jenna brought up converting to Islam, the wave of apostasy, the wave of people deconverting from Christianity, like millions and millions of people. So it's a slow fight, but I do think you're right. I do think we're winning, you know, and there's a better future.
Hopefully. Pragmatic Crystal is telling everybody to hit the buttons. Yes, guys, please make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button and the bell notification and leave a comment under the video once the stream is over. And also let people know about this channel. Recommend the Atheist Republic YouTube channel. Just go on YouTube, search for Atheist Republic, and tell people to come here and subscribe to our channel. So that would be amazing. Please do that to help our channel grow a little bit. And we just got a super chat from Unicorn saying thanks guys with a purple heart. Thank you. All right, guys, we're gonna end the stream here so that it doesn't get long, so more people come and watch it. Again, please recommend this video for more people to be informed. I think we do a good job here, and I think we would appreciate you letting more people know that this is a good place to come and review these things. All right, and we also get, Seek the Truth is saying thank you guys with 3 hearts. All right, guys, till next time, bye. Oh, assalamu alaikum. I almost forgot. Assalamu alaikum.
He sniffed like extra long in this video, and I don't know, guys. Tell us in the comments. Should we extend our sniff? Should we do it? Let us know.
Okay, bye.